I don't even know what I'm doing half of the time. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah, I see you as a boy on the mountain, sitting and waiting. It's a blue-looking planet. You say it's a star. Maya. It's a Maya star. M-A-I-A. And then there's like, it's like a huge cluster of stars. When I zoom out, it's huge, and then I go back. And you're looking at, there are children, there are adults. You look like humans, but you have blue skin. You live in little houses. They look like kind of round, like if you made a cup without the holding part, and then you would just turn it upside down, kind of looks like that. It's like a village. Then specific, they look like the way they're structured, it's almost like a star. Like the house's location, like this, like it's a star, and it's got like in the middle, I see like interesting. So in between the houses, there's like little rivers, and in the middle, there's just like a pond, but it's very clear water. And I see like, those large goldfish, they're called, I guess, red. I see those fish in there. Mm. And it's just the water that gives birth. It's like an endless stream of water. It's coming from underneath the surface. And so basically not that the river's going in, but it's actually going out from it. It looks like a round pool of water right in the middle, and the river's going through. And you actually you use that water for growing things. I see things like sticking out of the ground, which kind of reminds me of carrots and things like that, like the leaves, like beet leaves. Yeah, you have like behind the houses, that's where you grow things, but they're all connected. It's not like it's only yours, but it's everybody's doing it. And if you need more of something, you would just ask them to give you. It's kind of like a natural exchange barter system type thing that you do, because I see like they look kind of funny. There's no hair, but I can tell that the females are shorter and they're more like white or something, warmer energy. Males are taller and more like streamlined, cooler energy sensation. And you're just sitting and observing. There are mountains around. You're on one of the mountains, you're waiting. Your parents went to it's like a business trip to the star, like Electra star, Electra. It's right here. It's like Pleiades, and the blue sun is right there, and that's what makes you blue. And it's just gigantic. It really is like, I don't know. I think there are about, what comes to mind, about 900 something stars in that huge giant cluster, and most of them are blue. The parents are scientists. They're not in the agriculture. So as I understand, the society is divided into two kind of class according to classifications of what they do. It's not a job, but just what they do to support life on the planet. So some of them grow things. You don't really eat much. I mean, you eat like once a day, tiny little something, like a blue carrot or something. The vegetables look different from ours. The different colors of the rainbow. Not like something looks like a tomato, but it's a different kind of greenish, purplish with the spots on it thingy. And yeah, you just don't really need much. What you do, the communication happens in an interesting way because it's like skin to skin contact type thing when you, because I see like you don't really talk telepathically, but you rather give like a folder of information from you to another by like doing this two hands and use right hands with each other. So there's something about, yeah, it's, I don't know how to call it. It's just like physical contact information kind of transfer. And that's apparently what your parents did. They only have like, each family has one child, as I understand. Or sometimes two, but not as often than two. Mostly one. And they live 300 years. And they decide to, and after 300 years, they kind of lose, most of them lose interest in incarnation. And they learned everything from that planet. So from that star, it shows like a star. It's really glowing bright blue. It was blinding blue. And the parents just went to spread the knowledge, what they learned about the ecosystem of this particular star, that it might be helpful for the scientists of on the other planet, or the other star. I call it planet all the time because it looks like it was all this, the way it's all done. But I see it physical. I see it as physical. And I see them going into some center on that Electra star. And they're just standing by the table. And the table, they're staying in a circle, but then the table shows up, like appears in the middle, like they manifested or something. And they have like crystals, long, tall, like cylindrical crystals. They're blue and whitish, kind of like moonstone, like that. And they put it in this pot. This pot is connected to the screen, which shows up like in the middle, like appears. And then they look at all the stars, how healthy the integration or the communication, energetic communication and informational exchange in between all the stars is, because it's important for the health and benefits of the whole system, and also important for this particular blue sun solar system type thing. It's important. It's all about the consciousness, growing consciousness and development of their own species. Sometimes they even they exchange DNA for different skills improvement, but it's not like through mutation. Sometimes they just experiment. They somehow, it's like you can just do it to yourself if you want to develop a new quality or a new characteristic. You can hold on to particular. I see like there's one lab. It's just like so many crystals. I mean, they're different. There's like this cluster sticking out. There's cylindrical ones. There are round ones like round balls, and each one has ingrained particular characteristic that you might want to add to your own DNA. And then if you can have that crystal, and just like you can absorb through holding it that particular quality, and it would develop in you. It's just some sort of technology. They exchange. That's why I see them exchanging a lot of crystals, different colors, different functions for different things. Not only that, because some stars don't have as good soil like for growing things as you do on Maya, and then they would just take the crystal there, they would plug it into the essence of the planet, which would give more energy, and it would get reconfigured, would give birth to more would give birth to soil that is better for growing things or things like that. I mean, you mostly work with like that, but you just keep waiting and waiting, and then you decide to go and look for them, which is strange because they told you they're gonna come back, but there's something in you that you're very anxious. And to me, to compare with the child on this planet, that would be probably like a really early age, like 6 or 7. So, and time there is really non-existent. So it's kind of hard, like, to understand, like, we're gonna come back, but you're sitting there and they're not coming back. Plus the fact that you don't have the night time. I mean, it's like a continuous day nonstop. The only thing is what you do when you get like lose energy or you need to be on your own, because that's how you kind of unplug yourself from the environment in a way, from this kind of consciousness of the planet. You go into this little house of clay that every family has, and it's just your own energy circulating. That's how you have this it's kind of like powers up and strengthens your connection to your own self. It makes you focused strictly on yourself. That's why you do it, but it's not like for sleeping or anything. You don't do that kind of stuff. And the way you eat, it just, you basically pull off something off the tree or the ground. You cut it in a few pieces and eat a piece, and that's what you need. And you drink water from this big pond in the middle. But I see you using some spherical. You go, and there is just everybody has. It's almost like we have cars, and they have those spherical. It's like the bottom is flat, but then there's a sphere on top, and you fly in them. So you go into that vehicle, and the thing is, it happened on the timeline because that thing is just okay. Well, because it's your parents, it's not created for your consciousness, created for theirs. So, but you're smart enough to figure out how to control it without plugging in with your consciousness, because there's alternative control, which you figure out what to do with it. But then I see you end up like there's a switch happening, and I see you fly, and then you disappear as if you were disappeared in some wrong portal, or you actually go into some portal, but you don't know how to fly the certain way in the portal, and you go off to the side, and you kind of like getting sucked in. It just space is like currents. It's like a current takes you to the other direction, and you end up on some different planet with it's kind of looks deserted, with lots of little rocks, kind of reddish. Almost reminds me of Mars, but it's not Mars though. No, NUBUS, something Numus, something like that. It's just like an artificial satellite. It's not even a planet. It's emptied out, looks kind of like the moon. If you x-ray it inside, there's nothing. But very much inside, there's like a metallic, just like what we see, like an essence, like a round essence, or more like oval. There's a metallic one, and I feel like there's some sort of structure. It's like oh, that's the headquarters of the Greys. I see the Zeta Greys there, and it's like it's a metallic round thing, but there are like 3 levels, and each level has a big round room. And you're on this planet. So basically what happened is you crashed your craft because you lost control, and when you realize that you got out of the portal off to the side, because in the portal you kind of have to stay in the middle. So you look at the crashed vehicle, you don't know what to do. The only thing that you figured out what to do is I see you changing the density of your own body, because you say that if you don't eat much, your density, you become less dense. You become like more energy body. And that's what, because there was no food available or anything, you start becoming more like clear body, blue. And I see you doing like this and like this, and you kind of start flying. But then there's a spaceship. It's like a round, and then there's like a circle. It's divided into also sections. From some of the sections have little spacecrafts, and then there's another, so it's like a big spaceship, but it's 3 layers of horizontal layers, kind of built up and put together. It looks like a giant disk. And here they get you. But I see grays, and I see reptilians on it. And it's oh, that's not only them, but they're sent there. It's like they strategically pick the locations where there's an intersection in between stars or planets, where they know that they can catch souls that are traveling from one star to another, because you were trying to find your way back, and you decided not to use the portal, and you decided to just, because you didn't have the vehicle anymore, you wanted to fly, so you did. But See, you're little. Normally, if you were older, you would know how to teleport. But because you're little, you didn't acquire that knowledge yet. Because the knowledge comes from the parents. Parents teach you and show you, and you go together and do that with them. But as I understand, you're not taught until 13. That that's a number that comes until you're 13 years old. That's when they do it. Before you develop your own kind of personality, your own understanding of the life on your star, and because they don't want any influence on you. I see you in some square box, it's like a cube. I see the 4 dots on top. Those 4 dots are 4 openings through which I see clear tubes coming into you. And all 4 clear tubes, your body is layered. So the essence of the body is very much in the middle. One of the tubes goes in the middle, the other ones go through other 3 layers. So there's 4 tubes that are absorbing some of your DNA, some of your essence, your soul, and it's being sucked into some little there's just like in the wall. It's blend in some device, and it has like little drawers, and there's in the drawers there's little rectangular boxes, and from those boxes I see those tubes coming, and they're going down where you are, and then they absorb certain amount, and then it goes back, and then they put it in. I see the Greys doing all this. Reptilians are not. They're more like in charge, and just I see the big one. He goes like this in slow motion back and forth, and his tail goes like he has a huge, very powerful tail. He's basically watching them as slaves. Yeah, they read some information off of you, and they decide that 2 of the samples are going to be going to Orion, 1 to Beta Centauri, and 1 to Earth. And so the smallest one is going to go to Earth. The other ones are bigger parts, percentage-wise. I see you on Earth right away. You're just walking around the big fire, bare feet, dark skin, Indian looking with feathers around you. On the head there's like a thing with feathers. They look like hawk feathers. It's like a tribe, and you keep looking at the sky. It's calling you, say that it's calling you. You tell them that you came from the future, and you're here to tell them because you still remember some information about different constellations and how beautiful it is on those. And somehow you kept this information. It's like the strength of your will. Um, you were able to do it. You were able to keep it. So I just see these Greys are doing funky little experiments. So they put like, I see your hand lying on this. It's like a reclining chair again. On the left hand, there's just some like, it's almost like an IV, but it's for you to bring down to certain vibration in which they can implant something. because they open up like the heart area and they implant like the little, it was a laser beam. It's done quickly and there's not even a sign that it was done or anything on the energy body. It's, I don't know what it is. It's like an AI. It looks, imagine like a Scorpio, but the tail is long and not right like that, but it's underneath. And then when it swims in the energetic body, it produces this, it's almost like a lobster tail that makes them, that thing swim. And then he produces the other ones by using your energy. But I also see you that you keep taking them out, cleansing yourself. Because like if I zoom out, I see just like little dots going throughout the body. There's no particular implants. I don't see them. I don't see that. There's one thing. The head and the stomach and the neck, they throat. There's just gray parts. Let me touch. The neck, some kind of priest walks out or something. Kind of looks like a Roman priest or like old face. He said that he connected with you when you were asking to revive your child as a mother. So the child was newborn, but something happened. And I see that you bring him up in birth to the priest. And I get the name all the time, Georgia. That's where it was, but it's 13th going into 14th century, so it's very far back. And he says that he'll try to help him in the afterlife, or he'll try to bring him back if you serve him, if you stay connected and serve him. And that was like a contract with him, but it's, you agreed to whatever you were ready to do. You were in such crazy situation and all the sorrow. And he basically, I feel like then you came back and you were very much, what comes to me all the time, that you were speaking your truth, and you figured out the church control system, the hierarchical system, and you start talking about it. And the priest came to you in spirit, that's what he says, and connected to you because he was afraid. There's something this priest did that he was afraid to do in the in hell, because he truly believed he would go. So when he died of late age, 91 years old, he actually just came straight out of his chest and went into your body because he formed that hook. It looks like a fish hook was a connection, energetic, and into your throat because he wanted you to stop. He truly thought that he was like, he came there to change the system and to stop people from saying bad things about George, what you were kind of trying to say, to tell people, hey, look, that's what they're doing. That's why they feel guilty. And that's why all this going on behind the scenes. And so he wanted you to prevent from speaking your truth by locating himself in the neck, and basically where thyroid is. So I see him out, and you open a portal for him. You create like beautiful mountains and a lake and a meadow, and he says it's beautiful. You ask him if he would go live there. He says yes, and I see him stepping over the door of the portal, and you close the door. So your neck is clean. The one around the heart, there's another. It's like loss of somebody, a loved one you said in one of the lives also. And that's your creation. You are the one who created that gray cloud like energy. It's just your husband. You're a woman in that life. I hear you speak French, and you just died from some disease, and you felt very lonely at the end. So it seems like the other lives are pierced with this fear of losing somebody whom you really love from your family, from that life. What you do is you take all of this round ball of energy from your chest and turn it into a huge energetic butterfly. But this butterfly has 4 wings overlaid, and you let it out, change it into the positive energy of happiness and wonder. And so another, the stomach one, and that's something that you used to, I get this, that you used to heal with words. And then there was one time when you couldn't help and you saw the suffering and you pulled out the suffering. You were a guy in England, or no, I think it's not England, it's like Scotland or Ireland. It's got some accent. I think it's around Dublin, something like this. That you took on yourself the sorrow of the family, losing their aunt that they brought to you, and you put it on your stomach, and it's kind of like formed like a cluster, very hard, like almost like a rock. But you take it out now, and you're just throwing it into the portal to feel lighter. You also you created like a handheld vacuum and vacuum out all of those Scorpio looking thingies. There are more than 50 of them. They're tiny, tiny. I mean, I don't know if any device would even notice them because you're like energetic, but they cause your energy body suffer here and there to take your energy, and that's exactly what they're designed for. So you took them all out from head to bottom. There's one thing that was right where your forehead ends. Right there. There was just like one of those little Scorpios, like all bunched up, and now it just was sitting and eating your energy, and basically you suck them all out in the vacuum and throw it out. Mental, emotional bodies. You're writing down all of the programs you had, and you're just through understanding what they are, You're telling your conscious part to change them. And then if you're confident that you're going to change it, you can get rid of them. You wrote down everything and just like said that I delete everything through the things that I put on paper. It's deleted now. The contract. There's just a crystalline thing. It's like a big blue crystal. It has 8 points and it has the base. And that's what they brought to you in each of the 80. So 8 points for 80 lives. Each of the crystals growing at the base represents 10 lives. That it's like spreading this fragment of your soul into 10 lives at the same time and putting you in different situations at different points of departure, as they call it, to see your reaction, to learn from your reaction, to put everything you do in certain situations in their AI headquarters and learning center. That's what they said. Um, so I see like 6 those tall Zeta Grays, and I see one reptilian overlooking them. I feel like they're really scared of him because he can zap them with a tail. It can really hurt them that way. So you put them all in the portal and you just explode the crystal with your eye, with your sight, with just you look at it and just evaporates. 80 lives and the strands of DNA. You laughingly say it's 888 because you had to develop a lot of um, characteristics to be able to adapt to any star. And that's why you have so many, but it's not the limit. You can have more. So you're gonna gradually activate it. You put like it's like a wave of activation energy into the structure, and it's just gonna unfold, 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 and you're gonna see more more things you can do. So you change the DNA, you change that, you took that out. You cleanse your mental, emotional bodies by writing down. You threw that writing out, you deleted all of them. You also go on your timeline all the way back to where your parents left you, and you're showing them the screen and saying, you know, when you leave me, I would rather you do agriculture on the planet and things like that. This way you don't have to leave me. I'm like a special child who needs you. So see what happened when you left me? I got into trouble, so please stay. And the timeline is completely changed. They decide to stay and never go away. So none of this that happened happens. I just see you happily flying with your father on that spacecraft that you took before. Yeah, you changed everything, cleansed everything, shared information. You say the best way to share information is through touch. That's just what it is. We focus all our attention in informational kind of wave of energy into the handshake or the hand touch. That's what we do. That's what I'm used to do. I see all clean, and I see that you put this powerful energy. It's swirling and swirling in blue kind of waves throughout your body, fixing everything, filling everything with your own energy, activating the organs, the tissues, the muscle tissues, the axons, the all the neural connections, everything. So they to improve immune system, and so everything works. Because the thing is, those the where taken, there's some construction, but it's outside of your energy sphere that they used. It's like a grid inside the box, and it was composed of little boxes molded into a big box, and each box they would fill up with your energy. And so that one is gone also. You disconnected from that one because they used to say take 57% of your energy. Um, and mostly what they needed you for information. It's like you navigate the space of 3D, and through you they learn, and through you their AI technology learns. So whoever they are, that is that they create, they would learn. So you got this all off, and you're just like sitting there. You created a big screen in front of you to what you do on your own star. So yeah, you can ask questions. See you down there.
So I didn't come to Earth. I didn't agree to come here.
That's the timeline that you didn't agree, but this is one of the timelines how you got to Earth. You have to understand there's multiple timelines how you came here. Sometimes we come because we want to help. Other times and other timelines we are taken. So it depends. And sometimes when we're taken and come here, and all of a sudden we create our own mission. Hey, I understand what's happening here. It's actually good that I was taken here. So we recreate it, uncreate it, redo it, and we make it our own mission to help. I feel like you've always been in one of those kind of like waves of volunteers, on the other timeline. And I feel like that's what you're hinting here, because you're like, you deal with crystals a lot on your star, and there are different sides to panels, sides of a crystal, right? Um, so it's like on one, for instance, I give you an example. In my first session, I came here in second wave of volunteers. That's what I feel about you too. But I feel like you're more towards the first one. On the other session, I was taken as a scientist. So, it's just, and the more sessions you do, the more you discover the sides of the crystal, which is your soul. And you run in parallel so many timelines how you actually got to Earth. There's no one way you got to Earth. There are multiple ways. And it's hard to understand, but that's the truth. People don't understand. They think if they come you know to all these people to read what they've done, how they got to Earth, what happened there, they would go the same story. And if a telepath or even themselves in trance would see a different picture, they would think that they're wrong. No, you're not wrong. Every time you do it, every time you see a different thing. So that's how convoluted everything is.
Oh, complicated.
It's very complicated. Yeah. It's like, you have a hand with five fingers and you decide, hey, I like this planet. I would like to experience this way, that way, and that way, and this way, and that way to get to it. And how is it my life's going to be different according based on the way I got there, you know? And that's how we think. We don't think it's like, oh, it's going to be tough for my part to be in this body to this. No, 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 we don't think that way because we are our higher selves. And our higher selves are like, it's like a scientific research. It's like a fun scientific research when we want to see ourselves going to different places, different galaxies, different universes, creating different universes and sending our energy from this finger, from that, from this, from that, from that, sometimes even on the same planet. So it depends. There's no one streamlined story. I've never seen one story that the person got here only one way or the other. There's always a few. There's at least two.
My other question was, I'm having a really
Mhm.
hard time meditating. My mind just takes off and I realize, oh my gosh, there my mind goes again. Is it just a practice or I don't know.
It's because you were completely disconnected and disoriented from where you came from. You lost that connection because you were like the only one who came here. You never found anybody else who came from your star. And you never got a chance to reconnect because you were a little boy. The maturity level, the consciousness level weren't there yet. In a way, inside everything that functions, it functions as if you were a little child. Can children meditate? No, not really, you know. They can sit. Their attention span is really short. Um, that's what I feel, that the reason why.
Okay. Um, I'm blown away at the 888 strands of DNA. I've been noticing a lot of eights in passing, and it's just fascinating.
Yeah.
I want. I'm sorry.
Mm, no, no, no.
I want. I wanted to ask about my sons. So, I have two. I have an older one who is in the army. He's very resistant to any information I'm trying to give him. I'm just wondering if he's going to be able to wake up.
He's sitting on some chair with the helmet on his head. The helmet has the wires and they're going into the wall. And it's hooked up to some very strong device of mind control. It's his etheric body, that's how it looks. While his physical body is doing responding to commands he learned. That's why he's separated from his subconscious. Conscious and subconscious are at war with each other. Yeah, they recruited him from the basically from the moment he came here. So it's it's like you're beating your head against the brick wall and it's not gonna do anything. We have to accept that some people are like that, even if they are our own sons or daughters or relatives or whatever. Unfortunately, I see him like in the system with his roots in the system. So it's kind of hard to do anything about it. I mean, there's nothing you can do anything, but you can give him information, but he's not taking it. He's not even looking at you when you came close to him. I can't force it on him, cannot make him do stuff. He would pose more resistance if you try to. So you can only leave it like this and just know that your children are not your children. You're a portal through which souls come through you. You try your best, you do the best job possible raising them, but then they have their own programming, they have their own level of consciousness, and they're just not ready to accept. They're the baby steps of consciousness level, as opposed to you. You're like a wise man from a star that is giant, It's different levels. He's like a baby star as opposed to giant mega wise star. He wouldn't take your information. He needs to make all the steps through falling down and understanding some things by himself. That's how you learn.
Okay. And then my youngest, he has some DNA issues. I believe he's on the spectrum for autism. Um, I don't know what I can do to help him. He doesn't understand a lot.
Right in the middle of him, there's like a big black hole. He was a soldier in the World War II, and the granite exploded right in the middle there in the center of the body. And so basically, it's like the spikes from that explosion went through. I also see in him heavy metals. A lot of those metallic balls I usually see. Um, when you have from different I don't want to say the name, from those that you get. Those that look like metallic balls like this, and I do see them. They do suppress. Um, they kind of concentrated in his head, like in the learning center, speech center, like right there. So he's not able to. His neural connections are literally like disconnected. It's like two cords like unplugged. That's what I see. You can create this. You created this like a big, huge wall behind his back, and it's like a suction thing, and it's sucked into like a huge magnet, more like that, and it magnetized into it all of the metallic balls, heavy metals from it. It took a lot from his head. It almost looks like empty. And you also told him to heal the solar plexus area. It's like a black, huge hole in there. So he is working on it with his hands. I see him clean. What caused that? It was a dragon there that caused it. Dragon and a snake. I see the snake is in his feet. And you tell him to demand, to request the contracts, throw them out, burn them up, 2 red books from each one. And that's it, he is done. He goes like this, done. So it should be fine, but it's going to take some time because at a physical level, a lot of neural connections are disconnected. So it's going to take time to reconnect and to start to understand things, first of all. So, and it's a slow motion process. As I see like number, once again, 18 months. That's what I see. But it's just a slow progress type thing.
That's fascinating because he does have a huge issue with speech. So you nailed it. And I'm a speech therapist and I can't help him. So it's been very interesting.
Yeah.
But that's all the questions I had, Oksana, for now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I use like a mind poison from this snake. It's crazy. But yeah. Okay, let me. 55, 5 and 5. Here you got the 8s and now 505. The numbers today are over the top, and today's my mother's birthday also, whom I
Oh,
lost when I was 21, but I'm celebrating it because she's free, you know.
right.
Okay, stop.